It's Bullseye. I'm Jesse Thorn. So this is the 25th anniversary of Bullseye. It is a show that I started with some pals when I was a freshman, sophomore in college at UC Santa Cruz on KZSC, the Heavyweight 88, the college radio station of UCSC. And since it's the 25th anniversary, we thought we would look back with my original co-hosts on the program, Eugene O'Neill. Hi, Gene.
Hello.
And Jordan Moriss. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Jesse. I can't wait to reminisce.
You seem already mortified.
I am filled with dread right now.
I want to hear what I thought was funny when I was 19.
Jordan, you and I still podcast together on the podcast Jordan Jesse Go. Gene, we still text every once in a while, these past 25 years or so.
Every so often.
See each other. It's great to see you, Gene.
What about? What's in these texts? I got to know.
Oh, like what's wrong with Jordan?
Yeah, he'll just ask me, are you still avoiding Jordan? Yes.
Has Jordan been lurking outside your house? Yeah.
We're going to listen to some clips from the show and talk about them. We have these two binders of CDRs
Binders full of CDRs.
Yes. And
these are like case logics.
Yeah, exactly. And like KZSC at some
Listen,
point.
if you leave those in your car, you got to cover them up with a sweatshirt or else someone will break in and sell them later at the swap meet.
Initially, we had to go into a second studio to use a cassette deck to record a live broadcast on KZSC. And the second studio had a mixing console that had knobs that you turned instead of sliders that went up and down. It was a mixing console from the late 60s when the station had gotten started. But I found these CD books. They were in our closet here at the office. A kind helper named Robin has been helping us go through them and pull clips.
And a really scratched copy of the Repo Man soundtrack.
The first thing that we found was one of the first interviews that we ever did, maybe even the first interview that we ever did.
Yeah, because what was the show? The show wasn't always interviews. It was a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, it only became all the time interviews after you guys graduated from college, moved to Los Angeles to work in real show business, and I was just sitting there by myself and didn't want to do jokes by myself to no audience. But yeah, initially every week we would write material. We'd all just be in my dorm room, writing jokes, writing premises, thinking of contests, call-in contests and stuff. And maybe we would have one interview, partly to just kind of fill time. I think very early we figured out that an interview was a great way to take up half an hour of the show. We had an hour to fill every week and we couldn't do it just by talking to each other. But this was not long after the Pulp Fiction soundtrack had taken America by storm. Central to the Pulp Fiction soundtrack was Dick Dale, the king of the surf guitar.
I mean, that's another CD that was in every Case Logic. You had to have the Pulp Fiction soundtrack.
Exactly. I mean, there was one in mine. And Jordan, you are the one who booked Dick Dale.
Yes. So on Dick Dale's website, which I think
was your homepage.
Which was my homepage, yeah. I don't remember what it looked like, but it had graphics that might remind you of the dancing baby.
Yeah.
That was I don't know if he literally had the dancing baby dancing to
Ooga Chaka.
It was an Angel Fire website.
Yeah, it had to have
Rapid
been.
City website.
It had to have
GeoCities.
been. Had to have been. Yeah, GeoCities or similar. Yeah, if you clicked contact, it had Dick Dale's phone number.
And you called, but he didn't say this is Dick Dale's phone number. It said contact phone
number. And I
number.
assumed maybe it would be his manager or something like that. But you called and it was him. He picked up and I just booked an interview with him. It was pretty wild. He was down to do it. He's I think was up until the end was a real just self-promotion machine. He would do anything. He had a lot of wild claims about having invented various kinds of music.
That's the thing. The two things I remember most vividly were that he was really excited and pleasant, that we liked him.
Yeah.
But also central to the interview was him saying that he invented every kind of music.
Right. It was a thrill. I mean, I was and am a big Dick Dale fan, and it was and I think just wild, to feel I'm in college, I'm a dork, but these people will talk to me. It was a cool feeling.
Let's take a listen to Dick Dale on The Sound of Young America, the predecessor to Bullseye, 20-some years ago.
What was the stomp
that you were the king
that
of?
you were the king of? I don't. Just the way we stomped our feet when I played the music.
Just stomping and guitar playing both at once?
Well, that's the way it's usually done, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Can you pause this for a second?
Riveting!
Do you think that they picked this clip specifically because it was one of the most interesting clips, or specifically to embarrass us on the air?
I hope it was specifically because I'm not speaking in it, which I'd love to stay on that time.
I like the choice that we just had a bed of his music playing louder behind him than when he was speaking.
Yeah, and that wasn't added later, right? Were we just playing that?
No, I think we were probably just playing one of his CDs behind us.
But I guess when you have a guest that primarily does instrumental music, you're like, why not? Huh?
Yeah, let's take a listen to some more. Now,
Moving right along.
yeah, the stomp angle really didn't get us very far, did it?
That's okay. We got a while.
Now, I know that one of the raps on surf music, because a lot of surf musicians are into it for aesthetic reasons and not because they're actual surfers. But I'm told that you, in fact, are or were an actual surfer.
Well, that was the first surfing picture ever used on a cover used commercially.
Was that is that you surfing that I'm looking at on the cover of Dick Dale and his Deltone Surfer's Choice?
That's when I was in the buff.
Man, fantastic. Do you still look this
buff?
Do you still look this good, Dale?
Well, yeah, because I took all the windows out of my house. I took all the mirrors off the wall. So my brain never left 20.
Riveting! See, Jesse, you asked a good question. You had done some research.
I claimed that I liked that my question started with, I'm told that, as though we had a helper helping us, like,
sure,
as though there was a segment producer
our
for
assistant
this.
Yeah,
Bruno.
our team lets us know.
Yeah. Our various producers running around getting us coffee. But yeah, you could see the, like, I did my research interview guy kind of coming out there.
The thing that I remember really vividly about doing interviews in those early days, they were almost always by phone because no one was ever actually physically in Santa Cruz.
Right.
And because we were booking people by pretending that we were in the quote unquote Bay Area without telling them that we were in the Monterey Bay Area, not the San Francisco Bay Area.
We're in a Bay Area. You're near a bay, if that's your criteria for coming on a radio show.
But I remember that it would be the three of us, and all three of us would be desperately trying to think of something to say when the guests stopped talking.
Yeah.
And I remember the feeling of relief when I would see one of your hands go up, like just at your waist, like just like a, hey, I got something wave. You're like, oh God, thank you. I don't have anything.
And then it just turned out to be me saying hi.
I'm here too. Did we like collaborate on interview questions?
No, I don't think we did at all.
Yeah.
I think we each brought our own thing into it. I don't think that we made a plan for what the like narrative or structure of the interview would be. I mean, we didn't even have someone to get people on the air. We had to go to a song, and then I would call the person on the phone that was right next to my microphone and hope that I got them on the line in time for
the song
to be over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you even get information about people back then? I feel like any guest we had, right? It was like, if they didn't have an IMDb, what could you learn about them?
Yeah, that's
some
really
of them
true.
had personal websites like Dick Dale. And then, yeah, I guess you had to read like magazine articles about them.
This was the early days of the World Wide Web. And it was a time when you could like type someone's name into a search engine and you would come up with a fan website, and the fan website would have links to articles about the person. There would be some fan who had like scanned entertainment weeklies and posted interviews with. I never went to a library.
Yeah.
Gene, we did the show together for 3.5 years. At no point in that time was I completely convinced that you wanted to be there.
I was always very uncomfortable doing it. I think when you first pitched the premise to me of us doing this together, I thought, well, that'll just be like Jesse and I being funny together, and it'll just be recorded. And I don't think I was ready for the anxiety that would come with that in the moment. And I kept thinking I'll get comfortable with this eventually. And then Jordan joined it, and he was just like so much better at jumping in and having a funny thing to say.
Well, I think it's clear from the clips that I wasn't. You were mistaken about that, Gene.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I always just thought like you guys were so good at it, and I just never felt comfortable. It was more anxiety than it was fun for me. Yeah, the fun I had just hanging out with you guys and being funny, it felt like it never translated over.
I disagree completely. I think people thought Gene was the funniest. I remember getting lots of feedback that Gene was the best one. And Gene had quit improv. Gene and I did improv together our freshman year of college. Jordan 1 year younger than us. I wasn't there yet. And Gene quit improv for the same reason.
Same reason. The fun of the rehearsal that was just hanging out with your buddies and being funny, it didn't carry over into the stage performance, which for me was filled with anxiety. And look, I don't have a lot of memories of college. I still remember a few of the whiffs I had in radio and on the improv stage. And I have to tell you, all my dread right now is that one of those is going to come back and we're going to hear it. And I have to relive that because almost on a daily basis, I have to tell myself, no one remembers that really bad joke you told on the radio show. So you can stop bothering yourself about it.
Yeah, Jesse, if for some reason you have audio recordings of our old improv shows, I'll leave. I will walk out.
I have a clip here. We used to get tickets to give away.
Yes.
At KZSC. And the problem with the ticket giveaways was we would get like
No one would
10
take them.
tickets to give away, and we couldn't get anyone to call in to take them. So in order to keep getting them, we would have to put names on the list. So we would end up often just like putting a guy we know's name on the list.
Seymour Butts got a lot of free tickets in Santa Cruz.
But we were coming up with ideas to give away tickets.
Yeah.
And this one was for a themed episode of the show that was themed arts and culture. And so we were asking people to call in and give us their movie ideas. And whoever had the best movie idea would win the ticket.
That's a good bit.
KZSC, you're on the air. Hello?
Good morning.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Dara.
Hi, Dara. We've heard you before, haven't we?
I think you have. You have
Fantastic.
indeed.
Fantastic. So our understanding is that you have a movie idea in an attempt to win tickets to Fiesta Flamenca, a spellbinding evening of flamenco dance, song, and guitar. And I think it's flamenco dance, but I think it's actually tap guitar. I think it's Eddie Van Halen or something.
Van Halen?
Sweet.
Actually, that was a trick. Yeah, I don't really think it's Eddie Van Halen.
I gotta go. No.
Oh, that was kind of harsh there.
Sorry.
Anyway, Dara, let's get back to your movie idea. Why don't you start us off?
Okay. How about a movie of me and Gene going on a date to the dance?
Whoa, that sounds like an awesome movie.
Doesn't it?
Wait, is this just a regular dance, or is this like the big dance?
This is a tango salsa dance that you're selling tickets for.
Wait, so you're offering to take Gene to the flamenco salsa dance?
Yeah.
Wait, he's on the radio. You don't even know what he looks like.
I'm picturing it.
I could just be a mound.
Here, listen,
Are you
Dara.
saying no?
I got you some like background music here. I think we should do a reenactment of what might happen on the date with you, Dara, our caller, and you, Eugene, our co-host.
Okay, how do we do this?
Okay, Dara, would you pick up Gene or would Gene pick you up?
We'd probably toss a coin.
You toss a coin?
Toss a
Okay,
coin.
we're tossing a coin right now. Heads or tails, Gene?
Heads.
Okay, heads. It's heads.
Great.
Pick Gene. It's your choice. You want to pick her up or?
Well, I don't have a car.
Okay, Dara picks up Gene at his dorm room.
Okay.
So they're headed to Felton, California, on the bicycle over Highway 9. Okay, Gene, what do you say to Dara on the date?
Well, I guess I have to say yes. I'm so flattered.
No, not yes. I mean, like, we're on the pretend date, Gene. What kind of things might you make
Oh,
conversation
okay.
about?
Oh, I
This
thought
has-
we were at the part where we're pretending Dara's asking me out.
No,
We did
no,
that
no.
part.
This has to be really dramatic and
This
interesting
can't-
and funny.
Okay.
And if you're at a loss for something to say, this is a movie, so just say, "Oh no, look out for the ninjas."
I feel like that's something you'd say right now, Jordan.
Yeah, sure.
What I like best about this is that clearly the best one at improvising this scenario out of any of us is Dara the caller.
Yeah.
Sure.
I really went off the rails there with whatever the hell that was.
I know, and it's something I've learned about this kind of thing is that, like, because I used to like produce some like man on the street type stuff for cable networks that aren't around anymore. Asking a random person to be funny is such a mistake. You have to say something funny and then they can react. But just like, what do you do? What would you say? Like that's hearing that now is one of the 9 or 10 cringiest things about listening to this.
She's doing an exceptional job.
She is doing great.
I also think that the tone of this clip speaks most vividly of anything we've heard to Gene's feeling about being on the show, which is this mix of excitement and mortification that can't even really be described in words, but you can hear Gene being both glad and to be involved in this and hating it at the same time.
I liked it when one of you guys said something and then I could make a comment on it, but like
that's
me having to start something or initiate something, that was my nightmare. And I think we just heard all the reasons unfold right there.
I have a lot of new and exciting traditions planned for Arbor Day.
Now, Arbor Day, here's my question. You mentioned that Arbor Day has been around for 130 years. Honestly, it's getting a little stale, I think. It doesn't have a now feeling. What kind of actions are you taking to give it that excitement, that pizzazz that today's holiday consumer requires?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to speak to the young people. Young people, like trees, are part of the future of our nation. So what I'm doing is I've teamed up with hip-hop supergroup Limp Bizkit and producer Swizz Beatz to record a new song about Arbor Day, an Arbor Day anthem, if you will, called Climb That Tree.
I see.
That's pretty in your face.
Yes, and I think that the American public is ready for a more in-your-face Arbor Day.
Do you remember the first call that we ever got? I might not even have told you about it. So the first time we went on the air, the phone, there was no producer. So the phone light would blink when we were sitting there. We were in a song break. The phone light was blinking. I answer the phone, KZSC, this is the on-air line or whatever.
And it's 5 a.m., right? Like that's when we started.
7:30 to 8:30,
okay.
yeah.
That's in my mind, it was 5
a.m.
a.m. Yeah, sure.
And, I answer the phone, say, KZSC, and this woman says, "Hi, this is Cleisha the folk goddess."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
She was another DJ on the station. "I'm listening right now, and I want you to know this show represents everything that's wrong with KZSC."
I remember this.
Yeah.
And she said, "I'm going to put a complaint into the programming committee about this, but I wanted to tell you first." Clink.
What were we doing?
The first time we were on the air. The first time we were on the air.
Didn't you use that in promos down the line? Like,
I think I may have.
This is the worst show in the history of the station.
Yeah.
Because, a thing about this station is it's a college radio station. And the joke about college radio stations is that no one listens and it doesn't reach anyone.
But kind of a lot of people listen to KZSC.
Yeah. And it wasn't just students on the station. Like, there were community members that could have shows. And there are people on that station who had shows for 20 or 30 years, right? The Folk Goddess probably being one of them. And it was like stuff that you would associate with crunchy white hippies.
Yeah, it was reggae, Americana, folk music.
Right.
But they were really popular shows. I mean,
Totally.
They would win the favorite radio DJs in the alternative newspapers every year.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who hosted the reggae show cut ribbons at car washes and stuff. Like, he was a local celebrity.
Every once in a while, I will hear from someone. I mean, we have a friend who was, among other things, the head writer of Archer, which is, one of the funniest TV shows ever. And when I met him, he just sent me a message and he said, he went to Stanford, of course. He didn't go to UC Santa Cruz like we did. He's a little cut above. But he said, my roommate lived in the Santa Cruz Mountains and I would go home on weekends with him to hang out with his family or whatever. And we would listen to your show in the car on KZSC. And we couldn't believe that someone let something like this on the radio. And I've followed your career for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a point to maybe it was like 2 years or 3 years into doing it where you could stream it via Real Player on the website.
Yep.
So I think we maybe had some listeners via like comedy message boards who were listening on that like Real Player site. So yeah, I did like, I mean, I think our callers and like people responding to the show were mostly confused, but I do remember people like this who were like, I'm listening. I can't believe you had someone from UCB. I can't believe you had someone from Mystery Science Theater. So yeah, these people were out there. And I think that is part of what like kept us going, is that like you didn't feel like it was going to no one or annoyed people.
I was thinking about the fact that we filled our shows half with interviews usually. We usually have one interview in a show. It was because we realized we could not come up with more than half an hour of stuff to fill our hour. So half an hour of it could be an interview. And then we would try and come up with stuff for the first half of the show. And that was always a challenge.
We played the Monster Bash a lot. A lot of it was various monster-themed parody songs.
Sometimes multiple times within the episode.
Here's the Monster Bash again.
But we didn't know how to talk for a long time on the air.
Yeah.
We were terrified to talk.
Sure.
There was no possibility that we would just come up with a topic and talk about it like real talk radio hosts. That was terrifying to me. It was either people calling in or something we had scripted, because otherwise it was too scary to just talk for half an hour.
Didn't we do recordings of scripted bits, or am I misremembering that?
We sometimes did recordings of scripted bits as well. This is one of the most ambitious things that we ever did. We did this live on the air. It's called Mace Detective, Private Detective. Do you guys remember writing this bit?
Yeah.
I do remember being in your dorm room and writing this.
Yeah, we had the cutting edge idea to parody old detective movies, something no one has done before and no one has done since. And yeah, I think the kind of fun part was like, oh, we're going to do an old time radio drama and do all the sound effects, in studio and stuff like that. And I think you were potting up and potting down like background music, as you were in the clips we heard. Like you were live, engineering the background music.
Yeah, you were doing all the Foley work.
I mean, I think I literally had sound effects CDs that I was like throwing into the CD player, pushing up, pressing play, potting it down, taking it out, throwing in something else. And Gene was Mace Detective. We wrote, I think, all of it the night before. We went on the air at 7:30 in the morning. I think we were in my dorm room till 1 or 1:30 writing our one draft script for this, and then just calling everyone we knew to ask them if they were willing to come by the studio at 7:30 in the morning and play the other characters.
Yeah, I'm guessing that this bit is probably heavily casted from our improv group Humor Force 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm guessing that's where a lot of the folks came from.
Yeah, maybe we'll hear the voice of best-selling children's author Jessica Love.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Let's see.
Deep in the city lies Mace Detective, Private Detective.
I love how deep in the city lies this guy.
A man of questionable morals and questionable odor. Mace?
100% what just happened. First of all, questionable morals and questionable odor is not a bad joke. I think that's pretty solid. But 100% what just happened is I read the intro, Gene was spacing out and forgot to start his lines. So I have to throw to him. Did you hear me go, Mace?
Because that's, when you watch those old detective movies, the narrator is always talking to the main character. Yeah. Time to start the story now.
Jesse was always saying, you have to put Gene's name in the script. You can't put his character's name or he won't know to read it.
Yeah. It's like how Tony Danza has to be named Tony and everything.
It's because of his star power. I mean, the name's what's selling the show. Okay, let's listen.
I'd fallen asleep somewhere. I couldn't remember where. And I'd just woken up mid-morning. My bleary eyes could just make out my office halfway down the block, over the bar. That was when fate intervened. By fate, I mean the newspaper.
Extra! Mayor's wife dead in grisly roller coaster spill! City in mourning!
I'll take one.
Thanks, Mace. Working on a case?
Can I just say, whoever's
Case of
doing
a
this
run
voice is
was all.
incredible.
I scanned the
This
lead
person's
story as I
breathtaking.
made my way into my office. Seems the poor lady had her head knocked clean off at the reopening of Poppin' Jay's Whiz Bang, a theme park at the edge of the city. It was an old coaster and had been ordered shut down, since it seems the same grisly fate had befallen the park's original owner before Poppin' Jay got a hold of the rundown old joint and cleaned it up. I entered my office and sat down at my desk.
Racing through this.
I finished up the story about Mrs. Mayer's failure to get re-elected to the Commission of People Who Were Still Alive, and I had moved on to Marmaduke. It seems that the neighbor kid's party had been disrupted, and Marmaduke was left with cake all over his paws. I love that crazy mutt.
That's 100% a Gene joke.
Jesus Christ. Can I say I vividly remember writing this the night before, and there's some line in the script that goes something like someone's trying to give me a payoff.
Mm-hmm.
And they say they'll give me like a thick wad of cash. And I said, and the line was me going, how thick? And we were trying to think of a joke there. And Jordan came up with thicker than my Boston accent, which I thought was one of the funniest things I ever heard. But Jesse overruled it because he thought it kind of shattered the reality of the story too
listen,
much.
Jesse, if there's one thing I know about Jesse's, he loves world building.
Yeah.
He loves world building.
I like that I was
Yeah.
trying to dad you guys, genius, even when we were 19 years old, like scoldingly be like, no, we have to take this seriously, guys.
But you were the guy who like you were the guy who learned all the technical stuff, right? Like we still podcast. I still don't know how to hook up a microphone. You know, we've been doing our podcast for almost 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
And I still don't know how to like edit something. So yeah, I think the fact that you were the guy, and I know that's like not your passion, right? You're not a tech guy. You don't love bleeps and bloops, but you were like, the only way this will happen is if I learn how to edit stuff, if I learn how to drop in sound effects and music behind the talking. Because yeah, I think that was a like super important and impressive thing that you did at the time was like you pointed to 19-year-old ups at actually doing something that made sense, you know, because I think I'll speak for myself. I was not going to do any of that.
Yeah, I was definitely going to quit if I had to do any of the unfun things that you took upon yourself to do for us.
If you don't want to be a stick, you should sing with me. This song is for my darling Daisy in Sheboygan, the most beautiful woman the world has ever known. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I am crazy all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage. But you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle made for two.
Good enough, gentlemen. I will let you go this time. I will return, however, I will return.
Oh, gosh. That robot is evil. He almost shot us with his...
Yeah, he has a ray that causes death.
I know one guest we won't be having back on the show.
Permanent death.
I don't think that I would have had the chutzpah to think that I could do something like this for a career if I hadn't known the two of you guys in college. Like, I think that the fact that at that point in my life, the literal two funniest people I had ever met in my life, and, you know, you guys are both still right up there, were willing to show up with me to do this thing every week. Like, I was partly just motivated by a fear of change. Like, I still am. I've been doing this show every week for 25 years. But I think the fact that you guys were willing to show up with me and do it every week, and you guys were so talented and both willing to work really hard at it, because we all were working really hard at it. We're joking about it.
Yeah,
but,
no, we were working hard at different parts of it, for sure.
yeah, made me think that it was worth trying to do something like this.
Yeah, and I think, like, again, kind of like speaking to the time we were doing this, where like interviews with working show business people were rare. You know, you could see someone talk on the Tonight Show or something, but there weren't a lot of like actual anecdotes about working in show business from not super famous people. And the fact that we were like doing something that was kind of sort of a thing, and we were talking to like people we super admired who weren't super famous, you know, at that, you know, we're 19, you know, we're going to graduate in a couple of years. What the heck do we do with our lives? Like, it was so nice to be doing something that was kind of a thing, and also to kind of like talk to people who were like where we wanted to be. You know, that was really, you know, impressive, because I don't think, you know, I didn't know any like creative adults. So it was so nice to like actually talk to some creative adults and like to be doing something that wasn't just a bedroom notebook project that wasn't going to go anywhere.
One of the first comedy heroes that we interviewed on the show that I remember is Matt Besser of the Upright Citizens Brigade. And the Upright Citizens Brigade had a television show on Comedy Central that was on at the time. And I hadn't yet seen Mr. Show and the Larry Sanders Show, which Gene brought to us on a bootleg VHS tape later in our college years. So the UCB TV show was by far the most interesting, subversive, funny thing on cable television at the time. And because they'd been a theater before they had a television show, they still had this website up for the theater. I don't even know. I think this was before they had a permanent location for the theater. They each had an email address. I emailed all of them, and Matt emailed me back and said he would do an interview for the second season. And we have a little clip of it.
Ooh.
Matt isn't the gabbiest guy on earth in the best of circumstances. So
Sure.
I wonder what it was like when we were bad interviewers and bothering him. He had a comedy album out that was called May I Help You, Dumb. And because his phone number was one number off of some customer service line, he was getting calls every day. So he just started acting weird on the calls and recording it.
When are you going to be running the show?
It's every Wednesday. It's already begun every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. This place called the Improv Olympic West, 6366 Hollywood Boulevard, LA.
Are you required by law or like contractually obligated to say the address in that voice?
Yeah, baby.
Oh, Los Angeles. Oh, yeah.
That's how we talk.
323-962-7560 for reservations.
Well, Matt, we want to thank you a lot for coming on the program. We really appreciate it.
Well, can I plug the CD too if they want to buy it?
Plug away, man.
Yeah,
Plug
man.
away.
Go to www.uprightcitizens.org. Uprightcitizens.org. You can see all info on all UCB type things and get my CD.
All right. Do you
I
have
actually have a reissue of it with 8 new bonus tracks. You guys haven't.
Oh, that one's deluxe, huh?
Oh, yeah.
8
Coming
new
out.
bonus tracks, baby.
Bonus tracks.
Expanded liner notes?
Totally.
Good voice.
Awesome.
Harder to open plastic.
So what other tricksters have you guys talked to?
Right now, it's only Mal Sharp and you. But Mal Sharp said that ours was the best interview experience he'd ever been a part of. But we're worried now that it might be a trick because that just occurred to us.
Yeah, it might have been the only one he's ever had.
I did hear him making quotation marks with his fingers. I have very sensitive hearing.
Jordan,
why did I talk like that?
Jordan, that was
Is that
funny.
my voice?
But you're I feel like of the three of us, you're by far the one who sounds the most different.
Yeah.
I like any clip where I'm about to jump in over the guest talking and then give up and never try to say anything again. Let's have more of those.
I remember this was after you graduated from college, Gene, and moved back to LA. But I remember there is this sketch comedy group in San Francisco that we admired more than anything called Casper Hauser. It's 4 total geniuses. And 2 of them were kind enough to drive down to Santa Cruz from San Francisco to be guests on our show. We had seen them at a benefit show for McSweeney's or 826 Valencia, and thought these guys are the most hilarious people we've ever seen in our life. How could we possibly be friends with them? We invited them down, and we had recorded a bunch of little liners, little fake PSAs and stuff like that. And while they were sitting in the studio, we played a bunch of those, basically so that we would make them listen to them without asking.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of it, James Richmouth, who was one of the guys, said to us, "Oh, those were funny bits. Do you guys do sketch comedy too?" And Jordan said, "Yes," which was not true.
Fake it till you make it.
And James got us gigs, and we put together a sketch comedy group based on that led to our, to the extent that a sketch comedy group without a TV show could be successful in 2006, which was pre-YouTube, successful sketch comedy career. Like, we were getting paid to do sketch comedy. It was the first professional show business job I ever had. And it was directly because of us showing off to someone.
Right, yeah. I think it was just really important to me to like do something that was a thing. And I think that's why that radio show felt so good. And that's why our sketch comedy thing felt so good. It's like, oh, this doesn't feel like just a creative person getting stoned and doodling in a notebook. It felt like we were actually doing something.
I mean, I think you can tell that we still have the same kind of passion for this stuff that we had when we were 19 and 20 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember getting a voicemail message from David Cross saying, "I heard you'd like me to come on your show. I'm glad to do it." I was standing in Union Station in Washington, D.C., where I had an internship with XM Radio. And I remember almost crying because I couldn't believe that I would get the chance to talk to somebody whose work I admired so much. And the idea that you could celebrate art that you love that much, celebrate the work and craft that goes into it, celebrate it as art for real, even if it was rap or comedy or punk rock or these things that weren't often being celebrated as art. And also that it could not just be self-serious, that you could recognize the artist's humanity and that they were a person like you and that they liked being happy and having fun as well.
Because, it does feel like there's, apart from Bullseye, there's two kinds of interviews. There's the late night talk show interview that's super canned and maybe it has some like sweaty game built into it at this point. They're playing Flip Cup or something like that. And then there's the like super bookish blog or public radio interview where the person doesn't sound like a person. They don't sound like they're having fun or they like what they're doing. But and I think that's what's great about Bullseye is that it's both. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of goofing around, a little bit of humanity. Like you inject your personal self into it a lot. And I think that's something people respond to it. It's like not only is the guest a person, but you, the interviewer, are also a person. And I think that's something that differentiates it from basically all other interview content. Like there is so much of that now, but I think Bullseye is still different and special in that way.
I think when you say people respond to it, it's largely negative, but
hey, a response is a response, right?
Do you think that doing this in college informed the work that you do now? Gene, you've been forever a reality television producer, a story producer. You sort of help craft narratives on reality television. Jordan, you're a writer of comic books and television. Do you think that having had this experience...
I also punched up some cut scenes from Crash Bandicoot 4. Please mention that. Please. I told the producers.
What's he like, by the way, in real life?
Gene, he's great. He's everything you want him to be.
Do you think that this, having had this experience when you were 20 years old, is something that's meaningful to you in the show business work that you do now?
I mean, I'll say, because now, I do, I'm a reality TV producer. I do a lot of interviewing of, subjects. I don't say subjects. What do we call these people? Just whatever. People on reality shows. Yeah, talent on shows. And I think you were the first person I had ever seen. I remember admiring the way you could interview someone. You were very natural about it. And it was something I respected even more when you couldn't do the David Cross interview and it was on Jordan and I realized what a skill it was to kind of put someone at ease, but also give them just enough to sort of take the baton rather than just ask them like a sort of like, you know what I mean? Like a quick question.
You're going to be in Men in Black 2. And I noticed that in Men in Black 1, you were just morgue attendant. But but now I think they're giving you a name, possibly.
Really?
I looked on.
Is it Bob Odenkirk?
Well, thanks a lot. No, it's your name is Newton.
Newton. Okay.
Yeah, you're Newton the morgue attendant. So, do you have an expanded role in this movie?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty much like when you see all the stuff with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, like in every scene, and even the what do you call it, the box art and the lobby posters and stuff. I'm just off to the right in every scene. You can't really see me. I'm off screen, but I am present in every scene that those guys are in. I'm just off camera to the right.
Occasionally, your hip will move into frame and add a little bit of
yeah,
nuance
unless they
to
were
the
able
scene.
to correct that, then yes.
And I do kind of feel like that was like an internship for me a little bit in interviewing, was sort of watching you do it. And it's something to kind of aspire to. I realize like that's how good you have to be to both be good at it yourself and get good stuff out of the people you're talking to.
Yeah, I think something that I took away from that experience is that like you can be a comedy person, you can be a creative person. It's also a job and you have to show up to it, And I think that like I think a lot about that. It's like, have fun, laugh, yes, be creative, let your imagination run wild, but you got to show up at the time you said you were going to show up, and that was a big lesson in that. And I think that like I try and be that when I'm doing a job. I try and be the guy who like shows up on time, even though I was late to this. And we're all thinking it. I was late. But I try and show up on time. I try and like hit my deadlines. I try and send a professional email. So yeah, I think that's definitely something that I was like getting training wheels on when we did our show of like, the stakes were pretty low, but if I didn't show up or we didn't show up, it would mess stuff up. People would be mad. We might lose the show. Yeah, the radio station could get in trouble because there was dead air because we slept in too much. So yeah, it was a nice like, and God forbid there be dead air on KZSC. So yeah, it was just a nice little like practice kind of sort of job.
I know there's probably a lot of 19-year-olds out there listening to NPR right now.
There are, yes.
I think that the thing that I learned the most from doing this, which, obviously I never stopped. You guys moved away and I kept going once a week for 20 further years, is that feeling that when you are trying and you keep showing up, you will get better.
Yeah, totally.
And that it's worth trying and worth showing up. That like showing up is worth doing and trying to do better is worth doing and you will grow. And as somebody who's like a natural born incrementalist, like not someone who gives themselves permission to take big swings and not someone maybe even who's naturally diligent, like I was a bad student, but I think just showing up to something, messing some things up, trying to do those things better the next time has been really special.
Our guest on The Sound of Young America is comedian Patton Oswalt. He can also be seen on CBS's The King of Queens and heard on his brand new comedy album, which is called Feelin' Kinda Patton. Patton, I'm wondering, you're really passionate about stand-up. And I think for a lot of people, the idea of going up in front of people and just them in front of this huge audience would be just the most horrifying thing in the world. What do you think is it about stand-up for you that makes it so great?
Because it's a dictatorship. It's all me, and I get to flex my autonomous muscles, what little of them are left, and do something that's all me. No editorial, no committee, no rewrites. You get up and spew. It's really rare when you get to do that these days and have people that want to hear it, To me, horrible is sitting in a cubicle and doing someone else's work to make them rich. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I also want to say just how grateful I am to you guys for starting this project with me. And there's no question that it would never exist in any form, much less the form that it's in now, if it weren't for your contributions. And you guys are such brilliant geniuses. I'm so grateful that I got to do this with you and that I still get to work with you every week, Jordan. And I really love both you guys, and I'm really grateful to both you guys. So thank you for that.
Thanks, pal. Love you too.
Very touching, Jesse. Likewise.
Thanks for listening to 25 years of Bullseye, at least the first 4 years or so of 25 years of Bullseye. Thanks for indulging us, NPR audience. Thanks to Jordan Moriss and Gene O'Neill, my original co-hosts on this program. And thanks for listening for however many years you've been listening if you're out there.